Hey there, it's David from Project 42, Musician React and Nothing Gained. Doing subscriber requests as always. So, what have we got on the agenda for today? We've got lots to catch up with. So I'm trying to keep to maybe one a day, but I'm having to do a few more than that just because I'm falling behind with the amount of requests. So, to get everyone's in, I'm going to try and up it to maybe 2 or 3 videos throughout the day. Today we are checking out a request by Stuz Mieko, or Miko. Buckethead and Lightboard. So know a little bit about Buckethead, guitarist, sort of shred guitarist, what they call them, guitar virtuosos. So we're going to go check out that. I haven't really listened to them before. Interesting one with this one. It's a 19-minute track, which is a little bit sadistic on me, but I'm glad I'm doing it as the first one I'm reacting to today rather than one of the last ones, because I definitely hate when I get to like doing 5 or 6 reactions in a row and then recording them in a row and then obviously having to do a very long song. But let's go check this one out. If you like the video, obviously please subscribe, click the bell icon, like and share. Had a few comments recently about people not liking reaction channels, and I think it's quite interesting about why people do reaction channels. I do it just because it's a great way of getting people to nominate tracks for me to go listen to. It's a good way to find new music, new bands. So let's do this. Buckethead and Lightboard. Do you like the guitar effect? It's like I think, guessing it's a phaser with a bit of a chorus effect over the top of that. So it's like the wow, 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 wow. That's that phasing kind of thing going on there. Also sounds like he's maybe got maybe an auto wah. So there's a lot of different effects pedals going on over it, but it's a cool sound. Like that riff, that tempo, like bum 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 bum. It's that tempo, boom ba boom ba boom ba bum boom. It's kind of got a groove beat to it, which is cool. A little bit of funk, almost a little bit underneath it, rather than like a hard rock metal riff or sort of drum tempo. So I like that. Okay, so just go again, pause there. I'm going to have to pause throughout this song because it is quite a long song and don't want to do 90 minutes without pausing. But I like here so far that you can hear the different sort of chord riff progressions. But it's all very naturally flowing, and the main reason for that, I would say, is basically the drum tempos are keeping it very, very close, keeping the sort of time signatures very similar. The pattern's a slight variation, but it's all kind of keeping within the same BPM. So no major changes so far. Obviously, I would expect a song of 90 minutes long to have different sort of sections and breakups. So we'll see when they get to the first significant change. Okay, so yeah, 6 minutes in, so it kind of feels right now that there should be a natural progression of the track. So we've had that bum 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 bum, that sort of thing going on for quite a while now. So it'd be kind of nice to see some significant change, whether it's a drop back and kind of a cleaner section coming through, or maybe there's a tempo increase, or just something significantly different, just to kind of change it up. I'm figuring they're going to kind of do it maybe as a three-parter, kind of play this bit up to about maybe 7 minutes, switch it, do a mid-section for about another 7, then come back out, and it could be they go back to this original bum 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 bum, that kind of riff for the ending to finish the track out. I don't know. It's really interesting trying to guess where a song was going to go. Maybe how you would write it, how you would do it as you listen to it. What would you do with it? Obviously not as a guitar virtuoso myself, I wouldn't really know what I'd be thinking. I'd be thinking more kind of vocally and lyrically. Let's keep going. Okay, so this is what I would refer to as, or a lot of people refer to as noodling. So noodling, so twiddling, noodling is basically, noodling is all kind of intertwining. Lots of it, lots of going up and down. So you've got the kind of core riffs, 2 riffs that he's just repeated. And I'd have liked to have seen more of a change by now. So we're almost basically halfway through. We're at the same sort of tempo that we started off with, and the chord changes haven't really done much differently. So technicality wise, it's a great sort of backtrack for a lead guitarist. And you know, it reminds me kind of as one of those sort of tracks you'd get with, if you did the soloing part over it, the rest of the track is the sort of thing that's you would get on one of these like guitar learning CDs, where you give you the idea and you could get them. I mean, I got them when I was younger. You'd get the CD of the magazine, you put it on your CD player, and it'd be a great one for you to learn scales. And so if you were just basically trying to work up through scales for your guitar, if you were trying to learn noodling, and you ended up basically coming up with your own solos over the top of it, and that's what this is kind of reminding me so far. It's actually quite a cool vibe to it, and I could kind of hear myself maybe having it in the car, driving somewhere and having it kind of on rather than an actual song, because it's quite relaxing. You don't really listen to it too much. It's more of a something that you can kind of emotionally just hear in the background, and you can zone out a little bit too, but it's cool. Okay, just going to pause again. So we're at 13 minutes. So we're over. Yeah, we're over 2/3 of the way through. So again, we haven't had any real progression over the chord structure of the track, and I'm starting to hear certain phrasing of the solos where I'm hearing repetition of certain parts. So he's going back over certain sections, certain scales that he's using. Obviously, if you're playing 19 minutes worth of soloing, you are going to end up using reusing scales, which this is why it's feeling more like an exercise. This almost feels like a technical exercise in warming your fingers up to, rather than an actual something like maybe like a Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, that sort of thing, where one of those guys will have a progression of a track where they're working on a track. I can't think of any of the particular ones because I'm not a big guitar virtuoso fan, so I don't really listen to that sort of stuff. But that's the kind of thing where this one feels more like a technical exercise and a warm-up routine versus an actual track with a track progression. This doesn't have it hasn't progressed in 13 minutes since really the beginning. But let's keep going. So that's a kind of cool effect, kind of very much Rage Against the Machine sort of thing. Trying to think, I think it's if I remember rightly, I think it's an oscillator that kind of makes it kind of ping pong off left to right, or sometimes you'll see some people using like the three-way switch on a guitar and just flicking between the neck pickup and the bridge pickup. But yes, it's kind of a cool effect to kind of throw into certain solos. But I know. I can never remember the guitarist's name. But Rage Against the Machine uses it a lot in their sort of style. So nice to show a little bit of a different effect in there, rather than just kind of the standard distortion with a bit of a chorus effect that he was using over most of the tracks so far. Okay. Buckethead and Lightboard. I'm going to stand by my comments of what I said earlier. So it did feel, although the riffs are nice riffs, they're great little kind of groove-orientated riffs. They're 19 minutes of pretty much the same two riffs, or two parts of a riff pattern or a riff progression, is challenging to maintain interest level. So I was finding from about 8 minutes in onwards that I was almost kind of going, well, how long till the end of the song? I kept looking, going, well, is there going to be anything different coming? I was hearing a lot of the same phrases from his actual soloing technique, so it did feel very much like a technical exercise in how to play guitar, and that's great. I think for those that really love listening to the detail behind a solo, that is something you could listen to. You could listen to how he's working on the chord progression and all those sort of elements, and I think that works really well. From a song point of view, just sitting here and listening without doing something else is not great. But I could definitely have that in like the car, and I'd be quite happy because you'd lock more in with the rhythm guitar part rather than the lead. You'd be like da 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 down da down bow. That kind of riff is what you'd be ended up hearing all the time rather than the soloing. So yeah, that's just kind of my initial thoughts on it. It wasn't bad. It's just not my cup of tea as guitar virtuoso sort of stuff. But let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've managed to stay till the end, let me know as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.
What's a first ball? It's not reacts.